John Gruden did nothing wrong. Alrighty, guys, I know you're dying to hear what Gruden actually said in the emails from 11 years ago. Now, these were private, confidential emails, of course, leaked by the NFL on purpose to destroy the reputation and take the job and livelihood of storied, famous, and fantastic coach John Gruden, a man who I would love to play football for. So, what Gruden actually said, first off, the so-called racist remarks. Gruden pointed out that the NFLPA leader, or union leader, had big lips. There is nothing wrong with having big lips. In fact, today, it's more desirable to have big lips than it is to have thin ones. I'm sorry. Do you see people paying hundreds and thousands of dollars for lip kits to make their lips smaller? God dang, no, people are paying to make their lips bigger. There is no negative judgment upon having large lips. And in fact, if you, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Atlantic, think that it is a serious insult to point out that somebody has large lips, I mean, you might have to take a look in the mirror and understand who's the real racist one here. If you, the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, truly believe it is the worst thing in the world to point out that someone has large lips, I mean, who's the one with anti-black views here? It's probably you guys. Okay. However, I do understand that some people might be offended by that. You know, let us move on. He called Roger Goodell a pussy. Are you kidding me? He called Goodell a pussy, and he loses his job for that? I can see why Goodell would be mad, but calling people a pussy is kind of like every other word in a jock's vocabulary. I don't know if you guys were ever jocks. I don't know if you guys ever went through high school or played football or anything like that, but it's pussy this and pussy that, and you're a pussy. All of these things. And of course I won't get any monetization from this. I mean, I've already given up on that one. But this was the extent of his insults toward Commissioner Roger Goodell. Now, he did call somebody a faggot, which, admittedly, that's mean. Okay, that's a mean word. That is not nice. It's like calling someone an MFer or anything like that. It's a mean word. Do people lose their jobs for being mean these days? I mean, I understand this could be portrayed as homophobic. I certainly understand that. However, should everybody be fired for anything that's insulting to anybody else? The other day, I was hanging out with this gay guy who just moved into the block, my house in Philly. He said, there's way too many fucking straight people around here. Are you kidding me? This man said this to me. There's way too many fucking straight people around here. The disdain and the hatred that he had in his voice for straight people in that moment. I mean, that threw me for a loop, man. I was welcoming this man to my neighborhood, to my community. I was like, well, this guy's flamboyantly gay. That's not like me. That's different than me. But you know what? I'm going to try to be inclusive. You know, I'll be tolerant and, you know, go over, introduce myself, you know, try to welcome him to the neighborhood and bring up a friendship. And what does he do? He says there's way too many fucking straight people around here. Are you kidding me, man? Are you kidding me? Half the block is gay. Like, what do you want? So, my point in bringing up all of this is that it's very obvious to me, and should be obvious to other people, that each group, for the most part, prefers their own group. You can see among straight people, some are homophobic. Some prefer straight people and just say, I don't want to associate with gay people. Okay. That might be viewed as homophobic, but they're not the only ones. As I have shown, there are many gay people who disdain and hate and want to be separated from straight people. I mean, hell, why do you think we got the neighborhood of Philly? Why have we got every gay bar? And why, when straight people go into a gay bar, do the gay people complain that there's way too many straight people here and they need to move? Did I miss anything? Oh, the gay player for the Rams, Sam, I forget his last name. Gruden said that he was queer. Are you kidding me? That's an insult these days? That's homophobic to point out that someone is queer? Need I remind you what the acronym LGBTQ stands for? Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. This is a term used by the gay community themselves. And all of a sudden it's a homophobic term because it's in the mouth of a white man. And that brings me to my final point. And what this is clearly, and what we are experiencing in this country, is a purge of independent thinking straight white men. If you are a straight white man and you think independently in this country, they want you to be afraid. They're coming for your head. They're coming for your job, for your career, for your ability to make money and put food on your table and provide for your family. That is what these activists, these woketivists, are looking to accomplish. Have you noticed the people who get canceled? Have you noticed something about the color of their skin? They're almost entirely white. In fact, I cannot name a single non-white person who has been canceled, fired from their job, publicly shamed, and removed from ever working in that field again. So let's call this what it is. A purge. A purge based on race. The most racist thing to happen in this country since probably Rodney King. Now, over in China, maybe 10, 15 years ago, Xi Jinping started what he called an anti-corruption purge. I celebrated this because I was a naive fool when I was younger. I said, oh, anti-corruption? That sounds great. I don't like corruption. Get rid of any official who's corrupt. Oh my God, to think how naive I was to believe Xi Jinping. What he used this so-called anti-corruption purge for was nothing but the removal of his own political enemies. Does this remind you of anything? If you pick a word that is popular and say you are firing all of your enemies in the name of that word, be it corruption, be it racism, be it homophobia, be it misogyny, be it Islamophobia, any of those so-called popular uh, causes to rail against. If you, as a leader, say, I'm going to get rid of all the people who believe in those things, and then you just use that as cover to destroy your political enemies, I mean, that's a masterstroke. But the reason I'm making this video is I hope that you can all see through that. I hope that everybody in this country, all 320, 340 million people of us, can see through this so-called woke cancel culture for what it is, a purge of independent thinking straight white men. Mark my words, I will be coming out with a database of all the people who were ever canceled in this country, and I will bet you that 99% of them were straight white men. This entire cancel culture is nothing but an excuse to take the enemies of the far left, of the socialist and communist parties, and remove them from power. The only people they will ever attack are their political and racial enemies. And that is the entire reason why John Gruden was canceled.